What is going on, guys? All right, tonight we are going to talk swim jigs. Two swim jigs in particular that I use a lot. One I've been using for quite a long time. The other one I just kind of recently got into, and I really, really like these jigs. Jigs and swim jigs. But I'll just jump into this. I'll kind of go over some of the trailers that I use and kind of what I'm looking for as far as trailers go, and what I'm going to look for as far as the fish biting of what trailer I'm going to go with too. So first off is going to be the 6th Sense swim jig. I forgot the name of this particular color, but this is pretty much the color I use. It's more of a translucent white color. It's got a little bit of blue in there. I think it's called like something blue. I'll link it down in the description. I'll figure out what it is though. But these are awesome swim jigs. You can tell right there, it's got the nice pointy nose for the swim jig head. This is a 1/2 ounce here, and you can tell that it gets beat up a lot. That is the one thing I will say about a lot of swim jigs out there, and a lot of just jigs in particular, is that paint job. A lot of guys don't take the time to put the effort into it to make sure that that paint stays on there. I don't know if it's a deal where they don't want that staying on there because they can sell more jigs that way, or what it is, or if they're just lazy, I don't know. But that is one thing that's a little bit aggravating. Like I said, that's not a very cheap swim jig, but you can see all the paint just gone off that thing. And this thing doesn't get rubbed on the bottom that much. I mean, that's just from like fish hitting it and everything else. So it just didn't stay on very well at all. So wasn't too impressed with that part. But other than that, these swim jigs are awesome. I catch a ton of fish on them. This time of year is phenomenal for throwing a white swim jig. Going into that fall transition and into the fall too, it's a great time to throw it. If you don't have confidence in throwing a swim jig, this is the time of year you really want to start throwing one. They catch a lot of bass, and they catch some really good quality bass too. On the 6th Sense, I'm going to tell you the one thing on this swim jig that I like probably more than any other swim jig out there, and the reason I like it is because it holds up a lot better. But that's that screw lock. That thing is there. It just saves you a ton of baits. The only thing that I would change on this entire swim jig would be the paint job. Like I said, this is an awesome job, awesome jig. It's got a hellacious hook on this thing. This is the 1/2 ounce. It's got a little bit bigger hook on there. It's a stout hook. Weed guards are good. I don't trim any of these weed guards down. They're about perfect right out of the package. I've never had any issues with them. I don't think they're too stout at all. They go through grass and everything else. I don't have any problems with that. So all around, that's probably one of my favorite top swim jigs right there, other than the paint job. But guys, I'm telling you, go check it out. Throw them. They're well worth it. Second one. This is the Moccasin swim jig. Now, guys, I had to get a new one out. And the reason I had to get a new one out was, let's just say a bass ran off of my other one. 17-pound floor, and he snapped it like it was nothing. So had to get a new one out of the package to show you guys. But I wanted to show you one that was used, but I just haven't thrown this one yet. But the paint on these, guys, Moccasin lures, you guys need to go check them out. I'm telling you, they're well worth it. Their paint jobs are incredible. One, they got a lot of detail to them. Number two, they've got extra coating over their paint. So you don't have to worry about that chipping off as easy like you do on the 6th Sense and some other jigs out there. They hold up a lot better. So right there off the bat, I like those a lot better for that. You can tell this is kind of the same color here. I'll hold these up together here and I'll show you. You know, they're pretty much the same color. Now this is a 3/8. This ain't the 1/2 ounce. But this is the 3/8. You can tell they're pretty similar in color. Got about the same qualities there. I caught a bunch of fish. Wife and I went Sunday to a lake, and this is pretty much all we threw with these swim jigs, and just wrecked them. I mean, we caught a bunch of fish. So once again, weed guard on this thing, it's perfect. I'm not going to trim that at all. Comes through grass good, comes through cover good. I haven't missed any hookups on it, nothing like that, so it's really good there. The only downside to this whole jig is it does have a really good bait keeper here, and if you notice, get up close there, hopefully it'll focus in on there, but if you notice, this bait keeper here is not going back down this way. I see a lot of baits that are like that. And I guess they think it's going to hold it better and this and that. But the truth of the matter is it really doesn't. It actually makes that little bit of a notch there smaller when they go back this way. So with Moccasin, what they did is they just come straight out there. And when you come straight out, that lip is actually big. And it's pretty good on there. It don't get, I don't lose a lot of baits coming off there, I will say that. But I do wish it had the screw lock. I do like that better. But all in all, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that one there. I mean, it holds up good. So I'll go into trailers here a little bit, kind of tell you about my trailers. First trailer out the bat for a swim jig. This is probably the first trailer I started throwing that I actually started getting a lot of extra bites on and really had a lot of good luck with. And that's going to be just the straight made Rage Menace. Oh, losing package. But anyway, the Rage Menace. This thing, it really works well. You can put it on. I'll show you guys here. Usually, typically what I do is I'll take about the first, about ½ inch and just tear that off. That first ½ inch, tear it off. You really don't need it that long. So, switch hands here, guys. I used to do my left hand. So take that up there, feed it onto where I want. Get the skirt out of the way there. So this one does have the screw lock, so bear with me here just a second. So you can see how that fits in there real well. Now, there's a couple different ways and reasons that I'm going to use the Rage Menace. One, you can tell that's a real big, wide body bait there. So if I'm around docks and stuff like that and I really want to skip up underneath that, that is one bait that I love to use. This thing, like I said, it's got a real wide body, so it stays on top of the water. It skips very, very well. The legs do have a lot of kicking action to them. They got, pretty decent flanges on them there, you can see, on both sides. So they have a lot of kick to them. So they do look like a little, little minnows or something, running out from somewhere with little paddle tails like that. But like I said, when I'm fishing docks or a lot of brush that I'm trying to flip up underneath or skip underneath and stuff like that, that's when I'm going to that Rage Menace. It's got a ton of action, and it's a big enough bait that it will actually stay on top of the water and come through with no problems at all. Now, if you try that with, let's say, a swim bait, some swim baits you can get away with doing that, but if that tail, let me show you here, if the tail, and this is just my opinion, like I said, everybody's got their own opinion, but if you've got that tail and this long skinny side, let's just say it's hanging, I've seen guys fish them like these too. If they're hanging way down there, you don't want to try skipping with that. What's going to happen is that tail is just going to constantly drag in that water, and you're not going to be able to skip as well. I'm not saying you can't skip, I'm just saying you're not going to skip as well, because that's constantly going to be dragging in that water and pulling it down. So like I said, that's why I go with the Rage Menace when I'm wanting to skip. But now that I have this back out here, I'll show you guys. Now this is the Kitech swim bait. This is the 3/8. This is typically what I'm using on my swim jigs. This thing works really, really well. Right out of the package, it's a pretty good size. Show you guys here. On the half ounce, I'm leaving it as is. On 3/8 ounce, it's a little bit smaller swim jig. If you guys will look at that, I will count down these little ribs here, and I will go down to the 4th one. And the 4th one is where I like to cut that off. So let's take this, I ain't got any scissors down here, but take that off there. And for you guys that are not familiar with Kitech, I use Kitechs on swim jigs because of the amount of salt that's in them. They have no buoyancy to them at all. They sink a lot faster. So that's why I like using these. So that's the 3/8 Kitech. Like I said, go down to that 4th rib, cut it off right there, and on a 3/8 jig, you can see it just pairs up perfectly. So this one here, this setup, I'm actually going to throw more into like open water. If I'm fishing banks that don't have a lot of cover and stuff like that, that's typically what I'm going to throw on right there. If I'm not going to use the Kitech, guys, if you haven't checked these out yet, the Exo Swims. Man, these things are bad, man. They got a ton of roll to the body. They work very, very well. They swim just like a Kitech or Rage Swimmer or anything like that. But they have roll to them. Now, when you're putting it on a swim jig, everybody's like, well, why do you want roll with that? Well, here's the kicker. when you're coming down the water or down the bank and you got this bait, until recently, you know, a swim jig was kind of something you had to work a lot with. When you throw it out there, you were constantly, with your steady retrieve, and you're constantly just taking that tip and wiggling a little bit, which would make that skirt flare up like that and make that thing like pulse a little bit. With these new trailers that you get nowadays, they have so much action to them already. You don't even have to do that. Your trailer is doing all your action for you. So when you get into something like the Exo Swim, so this is the Exo Swim right here, and you can see how big these ribs are on this body. I mean, they're huge, but they create roll. And what I mean by roll is when that thing is coming through the water, you know, you're not just coming through and that tail's not back here kicking and throwing that skirt out both sides. This thing's actually moving it like it's hunting. You know, it just rolls back and forth a little bit with that Exo Swim on there. So that's what I really like with that thing. And I will say, I kind of look at it this way. If you're going to go after big fish, you throw a jig. You don't get as many bites, but you usually get better quality bites. That goes with the same thing with this Exo Swim. That's when I start using it. If I'm getting hit on the Kitech and the regular swim jig, I'm going to bump it up. One, I'm going to go to the 1/2 ounce, and I'm going to go with a full-size Exo Swim. That's going to get me the little bit bigger bites that I'm looking for. So that's about all I got for swim jigs, guys. Like I said, definitely go check out Moccasin Lures right there. Go check them guys out. I'm telling you, they know what they're doing. Their swim jigs, their regular jigs, their heads are on point. They really dial it down. I love using their baits. Like I said, their paint jobs, I think, in my opinion, are a lot better than most of them out there, especially with the double clear coat on them. They hold up better. And like I said, guys, you're looking at 6 cents here. That's a really good company. It really takes care of their products and really watches out with their products. And I haven't seen anything really bad come out of there. It's just the paint. I don't like the paint deal on there. So to me, paint on the head, that's kind of a big deal for me. So I really enjoy, like I said, with Moccasin Lures. Go check them guys out. Order you some jigs. They'll take care of you. Their customer service is very, very awesome. So, but other than that, that's all I got for you guys tonight. And I will see you again next time. Thanks.